We have a colorful week full of planetary transits. In this week's astrology, Venus is entering Leo, which could rev up the urge to be more demonstrative in love. Saturn's making an aspect this week that's going to push its retrograde motion into action. It's an active week for Mercury transits, which could lead to philosophical but also abstract conversations. And Venus is making the most alignments over these next 7 days, aiding us in working on our relationship scenarios and finances. Even though we have a mostly harmonious week, the vibes on the graph are somewhat mixed. And of course, that's because we have a few transits that have a little bit of edge to them, but the 8th opens up with a smidge of emotional sensitivity, mental energy, and romantic vibes. Then solitude is going to appear from the 9th to the 11th and intersect romance, mental tones, psychic vibes, and more emotional sensitivity. So even though we've got these mixed tenors going on, Monday and Thursday will, of course, create mood fluctuations from time to time. However, we might feel like we're pushing through with more constructive attitudes surrounding what's going on with us transit-wise. Then from the 11th to the 14th, we have more psychic vibes continuing, mixed in with emotional sensitivity, which has been present throughout the week, along with romance, which has also been present throughout the week. And there's a smidge of ambitious vibes on the 14th. Interesting things about all of this is with that psychic energy, which has also been present mostly through the week, and of course for the weekend, our intuition may seem more spot on than typical. We may be on top of things when it comes down to our gut instinct, so some of our hunches that we're having may end up being very spot on. Also, with all this romantic energy we have, it's going to be a time where flirtation is at an all-time high, and passion, and also an urge to do some fun dates, and also engage in bedroom antics, especially with this Venus-Pluto opposition. It has some unconstructive things that happen, but it also has some things that can magnify passion as well. So yeah, we've got a nice week ahead. Let's look at the next bunch of days and see what we can expect. Don't forget to like and subscribe because it helps this channel grow. Also, if you're looking for a natal chart reading or intuitive coaching, the links will be in the description box below. And if you'd like to support the work of this channel, you could do so by buying me a fresh cup of coffee. The link will be in the description box below as well. Even though we had some edgy energies on the graph, Monday still opens up with 2 transits that are really harmonious. The first one we have is Venus making a sextile with Uranus, which can help us look for a breakthrough when it comes down to our love lives, professional lives, self-esteem, and even how we adorn ourselves. So a vibe like this can give us a nudge needed to make some much needed upgrades in our lives. One, we could feel very inspired and feel like we're having a eureka moment when it comes to what to do about our romantic lives, what to do about our financial situations, and other things that we're feeling we might have been in a rut about, or other things that we haven't seen progress in. So energy like this can help in terms of encouraging us to get back on track, but also we could feel like we're having a revelation about how to solve these complex problems we've been having in our lives. On a romantic level, this energy pushes us to make constructive changes with our love lives, especially if it's a scenario where you're single and you're realizing that you need to pivot when it comes down to your dating game. Maybe you need to change up your style. Maybe you need to actually get out of a rut from a stage in your dating life that just seemed to go nowhere. But now you're starting to feel like you need to put yourself back out there. Or in some scenarios, it could be about changing the types of people you go after and looking at what else is out there, looking at your alternatives. So that way you're leveling up and opening up your options. For those in a committed relationship, this could be a time of reviving things and getting out of your comfort zone or making some sort of progress when it comes down to your union. It could be a time of experimentation. It could be a time of going on thrilling dates. It could be a time of just doing things that are out of the norm, going on lively dates, and also just doing something spontaneous. So this energy is excellent for shaking things up in a good way in your love life. Financially, this could be a time where you're getting a necessary nudge to upgrade when it comes down to your career. So this could be a period where you're realizing your worth, you're realizing your value, you're realizing that you need changes in your professional life. And so you're starting to take the constructive steps necessary to make that happen for yourself. Also, this could be about looking at alternative ways to earn money. So this can manifest into looking into side hustles, freelancing, and any other form of self-employment that's going to be fruitful for you. Another thing with this is it can come up as unexpected money, unexpected gain, And it doesn't mean that it's going to be a windfall, and it doesn't mean it's going to happen for everybody. It depends on how this alignment is aspecting your chart. But there could be surprises in a good way when it comes down to this alignment concerning how we earn money. Also with this, we may have the urge to revamp our style and do something that helps us individuate. So it could be a time of finding a unique look for yourself. One of the cool things about this lovely Venus-Uranus alignment on that day is that we have a Mercury-Jupiter situation that's going to also add to the adventurous tones and just the overall fun vibes of these energies. Even with that emotional sensitivity that was on the graph, with this Mercury sextile Jupiter situation, it's going to rev up the need for socializing. It's going to rev up the need to have entertaining conversations, intriguing conversations, and just overall promote mingling, clever banter, laughter, and philosophical discussion. So an energy like this is going to get us in the mood to engage in stimulating conversations, whether that be intellectually or just humor-based. Also, because of the cerebral nature of this energy, it's great for improving mental clarity and pursuing possibilities and seeking out intellectual challenges. So it may be a time to push our minds in a good way, especially because this aids in solving problems from various different angles. So we may be able to do things from various perspectives. And this is also good for having epiphanies as well. This Venus-Uranus situation that we have going on combined with this is going to be a day where we're having those aha moments for sure. Once we get to the 11th, we have a concentrated day full of planetary transits. The fact that there is going to be a sign change and also a multitude of other transits going on can make for a very potent day. One of the first transits of the day is the Sun making a trine with Saturn, which can help us look at things from a realistic perspective and also become more solid in our personality. On top of that, Saturn's been in retrograde for the last 10 days, and so this alignment with the Sun marks a part of their synodic cycle that pushes Saturn right into its retrograde motion. Saturn has been stationed for these last 10 days, and so the alignment with the Sun is the phase where this retrograde starts building up steam. We also get this at the end of the regressive cycle, so when Saturn goes out of retrograde or is about to go out of retrograde, we'll usually get that trine at least 10 days before it starts stationing. But energy like this is excellent for helping us feel good about ourselves, especially if we've been putting in hard work. So if we've been going ham with our goals, this is one of those alignments where we get that nice boost of confidence from it, but also some reassurance from that as well. So it could be a time where we're getting a pat on the back and recognition for all of our hard work and endeavors that we've been putting in. Also, it could be a time where we're realizing we're headed in the right direction and we finally see some of our long-term goals taking some shape and that we're starting to build a solid foundation. And so this could also aid in feeling self-assured about ourselves because we see that we're on the right track and whatever we're wanting to achieve is just right around the corner for us. But if not around the corner, it's something that's going to pay off in the long run. So contrasting that energy, we have an interesting alignment between Mars and Saturn. These two happen to be in a semisextile and it's mixed bag. And so when we were looking at the graph and we were seeing some prickly energies, some of it was due to this alignment that was building up. Mars and Saturn are both slow-moving planets, so we're feeling some of these energies before these planets hit their actual alignment on a specific day. And we'll be feeling this one over the weekend as well. And here's the thing, it's a mixed bag energy where on one hand, it's great for helping us in terms of feeling encouraged and ambitious and motivated and really wanting to go after our long-term objectives. However, the way this works is sometimes we can feel impatient, resulting in rushing things or trying to get things our way right now. And when you have Mars and Saturn in a hard alignment, a bunch of things could backfire if we try to rush something too quickly. So to avoid any mishaps, if possible, try to slow down and exercise as much patience as possible. But on that same day, Venus is entering Leo and we finally get Venus in Leo in its regular format. What I mean by that is last year, Venus went in retrograde. So when I was talking about Venus entering Leo, we were getting prepared for a long summer where we're going to be in a Venus retrograde cycle. But 2024, we're not having to deal with that with Venus in Leo. So we'll get this in its regular format and get to utilize it for all of its fun and bold antics that come with it. Of course, there's lower expression, which I will get to once we get to the lower expression of this energy. So as we leave the sentimental romantic approach of Venus in Cancer, we shift to a more passionate and daring strategy. With energy like this, we'll feel encouraged to approach our love lives with a touch of flair. And our confidence tends to get really ramped up under this energy when it comes down to love life scenarios, when it comes down to finances, when it comes down to what we value, self-respect, and all those other things. An energy like this is really going to promote some ballsiness and just this courageous vibe overall. Energy like this is excellent for taking a valiant effort in terms of pursuing things that are going to fulfill us. And that fulfillment is things based in Leo, which will help us in terms of taking center stage when it comes down to the things in our lives that we want to attract to ourselves. One of the cool things with this energy and this pairing is it feels effortless to express ourselves when it comes down to romance and other things that we'd like to attract to ourselves. So when it comes down to the relationship parts and the love life scenarios, it could be a time to speak your heart. It could be a time to be very expressive. So this could be a time where you're able to express a lot of passion. This could be a time where you're not afraid to express affection, because a vibe like this really enunciates being demonstrative. So we might notice that within ourselves. We might notice that within situations, our romantic scenarios, where a person of interest or someone you're dating is being more expressive than typical when it comes down to their feelings. Another way this can show up is through adventurous happenings within our love lives. So this could be a period where we're feeling more interest in some excitement seeking. And this could be about going on thrilling dates. This could be about doing things that are just entertaining. This could be a time of doing things that are over the top that you don't typically do in terms of your dating life. So it's a stage to bring healthy drama when it comes down to your love life. Another way this energy might show up is through magnetism. There may be moments where you're feeling more magnetic than typical and more eyes are on you than typical, or you're finding yourself drawn to somebody who has that sort of magnetic energy. Or in committed unions, this could ramp up the magnetism there and attraction with one another, leading to more passion and better romantics. Energy like this also translates into our social lives as well, because Venus is about our one-on-one commitments and our one-on-one unions and our close relationships. And so on a platonic level, this could be a time of doing fun things with your friends, exhilarating activities. So it could be a time of being an active participant in your social life and doing something out of the ordinary. Another thing with this energy is, because Venus is about how we adorn ourselves, we can find ourselves splurging on Leo things. It's also how we splurge on ourselves and treat ourselves to the things we enjoy. So this could be a time to zhuzh ourselves up, and maybe that might have something to do with our hair, since Leo energy is all about the mane. Or it could be about pizzazzing ourselves up with a nice wardrobe that has its razzle-dazzle effect about it. Financially, energy like this is excellent for magnetizing things to ourselves. Venus is how we attract things to ourselves. And so combined with Leo, it could be about how we're drawing things to ourselves, maybe opportunities, maybe some financial situations that we've been working on and just waiting to hear something back about. It might be a time where we feel like things are really coming to us and we're drawing that type of attention in a good way. Also, because it is in Leo, and Leo is a very pursuitful energy, it could be an action-oriented Venus. We may feel more confident to go after opportunities because we're starting to feel like we really deserve it. Also, this is excellent for self-promotion as well. But leading to the lower vibration of this energy, we need to be aware of our shopping habits in this energy, because it can get to a point where it's grandiose on the lower end, and then before you know it, you're spending more than you intended. We need to be aware of our need for validation under energy like this. When this Venus goes to its lower end, it's about seeking praise to a level that's unhealthy. And if we're not getting that, it can result in feeling either bad about ourselves, or result in our self-esteem plummeting, or it can result in behaving dramatically and commanding attention when it's obviously not appropriate. Other issues that can pop up with this energy is a sense of entitlement that we need to be aware of, and also pompousness, which is also very problematic. So either way, we're still getting this Venus in its regular format, which I'm thrilled about, as I'm sure a lot of people are, considering that Venus retrograde we had. Of course, we'll make some transits that are going to be easy, but we also have some complex ones that are going to occur as well while it's in Leo. But at least its energy is not retrograde-y. And right as Venus is entering Leo, it's making a connection with Neptune that can put us in a mood for fairy tale romances. But it can also promote an upbeat vibe. It can also promote a very spiritual vibe. So we might be seeking that out in our love lives. We might be seeking that out in terms of our one-on-one interactions with the spirituality part, because energy like this really ramps up psychic connections with others. And because Venus just entered Leo, once we get to the 12th, Venus is going to make an opposition with Pluto. Pluto's in Aquarius, so naturally it's going to oppose Leo, its opposite sign. And so we're getting this opposition with this Venus-Pluto situation that can make things a bit prickly. And And by a bit, I mean intense. It's mixed bag energy going on the 11th and the 12th and over the weekend because of all the things that are going on with Venus and Neptune, and Venus just entering Leo, and of course this Pluto situation. And so with the Pluto situation, we need to be aware of unproductive things when it comes down to relationships. And by that, anything to do with jealousy, anything to do with deceit, anything to do with petty dramas and things like that, a lot of that stuff can feel prevalent around this point in time because of the energies, especially anything to do with power struggles in relationships and power struggles when it comes to money. There can be moments where we're dealing with people who throw their weight around when it comes down to our unions, but also when it comes down to financial matters as well. And those controlling financial situations can range from relatives, spouses, anyone that you have dealings with money, and also professionally. Sometimes it could be about an employer who's dangling a promotion over other people's heads or doing things that may feel threatening and coercive concerning your income. So it could be really messy energy in that way, uncomfortable energy in that way. I mean, on a constructive end, it can definitely lead to a lot of passion when it comes down to relationships and makeup sex and things like that, or intense, powerful, plutonic attractions to a person, which that can go either way. Sometimes that could be a neutral energy. Sometimes that could be a very unconstructive energy. So definitely proceed with caution because sometimes that could lead to an obsessive situation in a union. So having this Pluto situation along with the Venus-Neptune situation can make things feel mixed bag. And on top of that, we've got Mercury making a Sesquiquadrate to Neptune on the 12th, and we'll be feeling all these energies over the weekend. So this is where we are getting a lot of psychic energy and all of that being revved up. The problem with the Mercury situation is we might have a haze over us, and so that can result in not understanding certain situations or interactions or the details of something. So it could lead to miscommunication. It could lead to mishaps if we're supposed to be paying attention to things. And by paying attention to things, this could be anything to do with contracts, paperwork, signups, memberships, subscriptions, any type of agreements that we really need to go over. We may skim the details about it or not understand things, and so before you know it, we end up having a situation that we're not happy with. And with communication, it can throw things off, and so we may be misunderstanding what someone is saying and taking something personal or feeling extra sensitive when someone's really not meaning something the way we're taking it. So we need to be really mindful of that and take a step back and check ourselves. Also, with a vibe like this, speaking of not understanding things, we need to be aware of people who are being deceptive intentionally or being cryptic, because there's a bit of a deceitful energy within this that we need to be careful about. So anything that may seem too good to be true, just be aware of that. And also that does have to do with signups and things like that. And this is where I say read all the details of situations, but also in communication with those who are deceptive too. There may be a need to put up some boundaries with them and maybe with yourself. But even though we're ending the week with those two harder energies, we still got that Venus-Neptune situation and Venus entering Leo, and just overall this week had more good vibes than it did difficult ones. So let's soak this up for all it is. Anyway, I hope you all have the best week ever. Later, and see you in the next episode.